the opportunity arose to hear him preach. Another 5 years or so would pass before his multi-volume expositions of Romans and Ephesians began to appear, and then preaching and preachers. By that time, I was a young minister and, like many others, eagerly devoured each volume as soon as it appeared. Here, indeed, was logic on fire. I suspect I was not the only young minister who could write about his first more personal encounter with Martyn Lloyd-Jones and of his encouragement. But I had a special reason to be taken aback by it. In 1975, I was living on the most northerly inhabited island in the United Kingdom, in the Shetland Islands, far off the north coast of the Scottish mainland. The mail that arrived one Friday at lunchtime included a letter in a none too legible hand. Medical doctors in the UK have a reputation for bad handwriting, but that connection was very far from my mind as I opened the envelope and began to read. Having the habit of trying to take in the contents of a letter at a glance, I could not make sense of the words that seemed to leap off the page. And then came the stunning realization. This was a personal letter from the doctor. How could he know who I was, far less where I was? Later, of course, it would dawn on me that this, the encouragement of young ministers, was part and parcel of his model of biblical ministry. Even so, his reach had extended to Ultima Thule. The correspondence that ensued was marked by grace and encouragement on his part, not least since I was a comparative child in the ministry, especially his emphasis on both heat and light in the preaching of the word, the great combination as he regarded it. Looking back now, I suspect that he engineered little ways of testing my mettle, none more so than in 1978 when an invitation came to give 2 addresses at a ministers' conference in Wales. As it turned out, the other speaker, for other read Maine, was, yes, D. Martyn Lloyd-Jones. He gave one of the most remarkable addresses I have ever heard, entitled Extraordinary Phenomena in Revivals of Religion. It was thrilling and an extraordinary phenomenon in its own right. Being of a shy disposition, I found the whole experience somewhat daunting, more so because, when I stood up to preach, Dr. Lloyd-Jones was sitting in the center of the front row. It was an occasion to remember that no matter who is in the congregation, we always preach before the face of God. But here again, the connectedness between what Lloyd-Jones urged on Christians and his own practice was evident. As I made my way from the meeting, a strong hand gripped my arm from behind, and turning around, I found myself looking into his face and hearing him say, "My dear brother." What struck me then, I can still feel the sense of it, was how whole-souled his encouragement was. All this is said by way of introducing Lloyd-Jones on the Christian life, to underline that it was what the Lord made Dr. Lloyd-Jones as a man and as a Christian that shaped his ministry. He did not live to preach. He lived for Christ. All preachers are differently wired. There is a wide variety in gifts and temperaments, in experience and understanding. But when a man is given over to the love of Christ in his living, it cannot be hidden in his preaching. Just as sadly, if he is given over to love of self, it will also eventually show. Lloyd-Jones was an exemplar of the gospel, not only a preacher of it. There is, therefore, a fittingness to Jason Meyer's approach in these pages. The doctor would have approved of his emphasis on understanding Christian doctrine being a major key to living the Christian life. Not light without heat, however, but burning light that inflames. Lloyd-Jones's grasp of Christian doctrine was surely a key to his skill as a spiritual diagnostician and physician of the soul.